welcome to Diksha previous year question discussion. In this video, we'll be discussing another set of teaching aptitude question from the last 2020 June examination. I hope you are ready. Let's start. So this is the question. As you can see, it's a match the list question. Two sets are given, set 1 and set 2. Set 1 have some learner's characteristics, and set 2 description of these different kind of learner's characteristics are given. What you have to do is you have to choose the appropriate description for the corresponding learner's characteristics. This particular area, learner's characteristics in teaching aptitude module, is not a frequently asked one, but in the last examination they asked from it, so you have to study it carefully. Giving you a brief description about what learner's characteristics are. Okay. As the term indicates, these are the characteristic features shown by the students which can influence the classroom situation, like the efficiency of teaching and learning process as a whole. Okay. And these kind of features shown by the students can be divided into 4 different domains, as you can see in the set 1: academic domain, social domain, emotional domain, and cognitive domain. Okay. Let's discuss one by one briefly. So academic domain deals with the students' features which can be related to their academic features, like their learning style, their learning approach, their knowledge level. So these kind of academic features are discussed in academic domain. And in social characteristics, it deals with the social competency and social skill possessed by the student, like how well they can establish and maintain a relationship, interpersonal communication, and the overall communication skill. These kind of social competencies are there in social domain. And in emotional domain, it discusses about the emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, and control over feelings, impulsiveness level. So these kind of emotional features of the students are discussed in emotional domain. And in cognitive domain of the learner's characteristics, it deals with the thinking pattern, thought pattern, type of thinking, their decision-making capacity, their overall cognitive potentials like decision-making, analysis ability, critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving. So all these kind of cognitive features are explained in cognitive domain. Okay. So these are the major theme of each of these learner's characteristics domain. Now moving to the set 2, you have to go through each of these descriptions in detail, and you have to select the corresponding learner's domain, characteristic domain. So let's see the first one. Learner encodes and decodes relevant messages correctly. A learner or a student encodes and decodes relevant messages correctly. A person's ability to encode and further process the information and to recall it when needed is a feature which can be added in the domain which is related to our thinking ability, which is clearly cognitive domain or cognitive characteristics. Okay, because it deals with how well an information is processed in an individual's brain. Okay, so cognitive characteristics. Option D in set 1 matches with option 1 of set 2. Okay. Now, going to the second description. Learner selects different themes in his or her course when needed. A student selects different themes, different forms in his or her course that he or she is studying when he or she is needed. What is the domain which deals with the knowledge or the level of education or the learning style or approach by the individual student? It's definitely academic domain. Academic domain deals with anything which is related to learning, knowledge, and learning styles and all. So yes, A of set 1 matches with 2 of set 2. Then the third description, learner works as a team member of the peers. Who are peers? Peers are the people who are in the same age category of the individual. So here, learner works as a team member of the peers, a team member, a group member, which clearly focus on the social domain or social characteristics. In social characteristics, the students deals with other individuals or other students, other peers in a social way, right? So these kind of social skills, as a team member, the student is working as a team member, which is definitely focusing on the social competency of that student. So social characteristics is the one which correctly matches with option 3 of set 2. Now the fourth description, learner starts respecting the individual differences evident in likes and dislikes of members of his or her class. It is directly connected with emotional characteristics, as it is the only one option remaining. But we know that if a student starts respecting others' feelings and others' choices, it clearly shows their emotional maturity and their emotional intelligence level, which is definitely included in emotional domain. So this will be the answer. A matches with 2, B with 3, C with 4, and D with 1, which makes the option C correct. Next question. For effective teaching, which of the following is a key behavior? You have to choose the key behavior. We have already discussed in the previous video what is meant by key behavior and helpful behavior of teaching, right? So here the key term is key behavior. You have to choose the key behavior from the options. So let's discuss each of the option. Encouraging students to elaborate their own answer or that of other students. Encouraging students to elaborate their idea or their opinion, which is not a key behavior, but it's a helpful behavior, as we were discussing in the previous video. So we can exclude this one. Now, summarizing what was told by a student. Summarizing the student's ideas and points is also not a key behavior, it's a helpful behavior. So the question is not about helpful behavior, we can exclude this one also. Now, teacher gives comments for the purpose of organizing what is to come. Structuring the lesson content, using probing statements to get maximum answers from the students. So all these kind of organizing and structuring things comes under the helpful behaviors, not under key behaviors. So we can exclude this one also. Making ideas clear to learners who may be at different levels of understanding. We have discussed this. Lesson clarity is an important key behavior of teaching. Okay, so yes, this is a key behavior. So I hope you understand this. If you have no idea about what a key behavior and the helpful behavior of teaching is, please go and check the previous video. Okay, so yes, correct option will be option D. Moving to the next question. A student finds it difficult to understand, analyze, and interpret the concepts and principles relating to a subject of study formally prescribed. Which learner characteristics would be most relevant in such a situation to be probed? So here the question is about learner's characteristics, which we were discussing in the previous question. So as we have discussed, learner's characteristics can be divided into 4 different domains: academic, social, emotional, and cognitive domain. Now we have to check what are the features given in the question. Then we have to identify which domain satisfies this feature. Okay, so here the student finds it difficult to understand, analyze, and interpret the concepts. Understanding something, analyzing something, and interpreting something. Which domain of learner characteristics deals with things like this? Understanding a particular information, then further processing this to analyze this and to understand or to give interpretation, to give meaning for that particular information. Which domains deals with these kind of characteristic features? We know it is not academic, because academic domains deal with the academic nature like learning style, their knowledge level and all. Social characteristics deals with the social competencies like interpersonal relationship maintenance, communication skills and all. Emotional characteristics deals with the emotional maturity, impulsive nature, and how well a student can emotionally manage certain situations. So no, not emotional domain. Is it cognitive domain? What was cognitive domain? This particular domain deals with how well a student can think and process information, how well a student can use his or her thinking ability, thinking capacity, like problem solving, decision making, critical analysis, analyzing ability. So these kind of information processing is done in our brain with our cognitive potential. So here the features focused are understanding, analyzing, and interpreting some kind of information, which is clearly comes under cognitive domain. So yes, the correct answer will be option D, cognitive characteristics. I hope that one was easy. Now moving to the next question. Another important question from teaching aptitude topic. In which of the following evaluation systems evaluation occurs informally during instructions? 4 options are given. Evaluation in choice-based credit system, evaluation through computer-based testing, summative evaluation, and formative evaluation. Don't get confused. We have to identify the key term here, as we always do. Evaluation occurs informally during instruction or during the teaching period. Which is the evaluation method which is conducted during an instructional period or during the teaching period? We know it is formative evaluation. We have discussed in detail what is the difference between a test being formative and summative. Okay, so here the question is about the evaluation method which is conducted during the instruction. It is formative evaluation. If a test is summative in nature, as we have discussed, this could happen after an instructional procedure or at the end of the instructional procedure. So no, the question is not about something which is conducted after the instructional procedure. So it is certainly not summative evaluation. It is clearly formative evaluation. Don't get confused when you see evaluation in choice-based credit system and evaluation through computer-based testing. These are not evaluation methods actually. These are the system which includes different kinds of evaluation techniques like formative, summative, criterion, and norm reference testing. Those are not itself an evaluation technique. Okay, so whenever you see during an instruction type evaluation, go for formative evaluation. When you see at the end of the instructional period, go for summative evaluation. I hope you understood that question and explanation well. Okay, so yes, correct answer is option D, formative evaluation. Next question. Which of the following are the learner related factors in determining effectiveness of teaching? So you have to choose the code which determine the effectiveness of teaching. 5 codes are given: task relevant competencies of learners, content mastery of teacher, choice of teaching methods, composition of the classroom, readiness level of the student. That's a very easy but a tricky question. You have to carefully go through the question first. Okay, which of the following are learner related factors? Okay, learner related factors in determining the effectiveness of teaching. You can see a lot of questions which ask about the factors which can positively contribute to effectiveness of teaching. But the area of focus should be, the point of focus should be on which aspect. Here, the effectiveness of teaching, which is related to learner related factors. You have to choose the learner factors which can contribute to the effectiveness of teaching. So here the key term is learner related factors, and here itself lies the answer. Okay, let's see. Task relevant competencies of learners. Task relevant competencies of learners, or simply task related potential possessed by learner, is definitely a learner characteristics or a learner factor which can contribute to the efficiency of teaching, because if a student has that potential in him or her, it can positively relate to, or it can positively influence the overall teaching learning process. So yes, task relevant competencies of the learner is definitely a learner related factor. So yes. Now B, content mastery of the teacher. A teacher's content mastery. Yes, the content mastery of the teacher is a very important factor which can contribute to the efficiency of teaching. But here the focus is not the teacher related factor that can contribute to the efficiency of teaching, but it focuses on the learner related factor. So content mastery of the teacher is not a learner related one, but a teacher related one. So we can exclude this option. Now, choice of teaching method. Which instructional strategy or which instructional or teaching method is chosen by the teacher in a classroom situation is entirely dependent on the teacher, not the learner. So, which method to choose, which teaching strategy to choose to present a particular content in front of student is based on the teacher's interest or the teacher's decision, which is not related to learner or the student. So it is also related to teacher, not the learner. So we can exclude this one also. Now, composition of the classroom. How well the classroom is composed, or the classroom management and monitoring of the classroom situation is not done by the learner, but it is also dependent on the teacher's features. So this is also our answer. This is not our answer, so we can exclude this one also. Composition of the classroom, as it is not having any role in learner related factor. Then readiness level of the student, as the sentence suggests, it is related to the learner or the student. The readiness level or the motivation he or she has to study is a very important learner related factor, a learner factor which can contribute to the efficiency of teaching learning process. So this is also yes. It's a very simple question, because you can easily identify the things which talks about learner, and you can simply exclude the other sentences, other statements which talks about teacher. That itself is the answer. So the correct answer will be the option containing the codes, code A and code E, which makes option B the correct one. I hope you understood this question. Thank you so much.